Hey, cousins. Hope all is well. Practicing your self care. Oh, wow. It's a snow day for me, so that's fantastic. But what sucks is my complex forgets that we are in a duplex, and so they don't shovel my driveway. And I'm always incensed. Other than that, everything's fine. Everything's going to be okay. Hope you enjoyed all of the content. If you are looking for something outside the box, girl, what I got to do with wrestling is always pumping over on the Patreon, just for small little something, none heavy, something. Watch, like, comment, subscribe. So, what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about the conversation of AEW Dynamite versus WWE Survivor Series War Games. AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts. Specifically the women, okay? Because that's what I watched. Both men's matches were lackluster for the most part. Everyone was really focused on the women. And I really want to talk about this because I understand that War Games, the women's match, War Games itself was atrocious. Okay, it was very. It was a letdown. It was everything that we did not want, and it was only 4 matches. We can go on and on about that. And then Blood and Guts, they give you the traditional 4, 5, 6 hours of pure wrestling entertainment. That's fine, but what I don't like is every chance the sickos get, they decide to run over to, WWE, what they call it, E-drones, and say, well, I was just better, yours wasn't. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it because, um, quiet as it's kept, the blood and guts situation wasn't as good as y'all think it is. It was, if I had to make a comparison, it was clunky, just like the War Games situation. It was a lot of laying around. It was a lot of botches. It was a lot of missed spots. It was very chaotic. Now, WWE's wasn't as chaotic. They were laying around. There was missed spots. It was botchy. It was clunky. It was boring. I will give the women this. They never really stopped. Now, this is the thing. The camera is what saved AEW. Because even when the ladies are laying around and letting everybody get their spots, the camera is focused on some form of action. As to where WWE and their camera work as of late, they've been showing missed spots, people talking, all kinds of crazy shit, okay? So I will give AEW their props in the camera department. Now, I said Nia Jax wasn't really punching on them girls. Now, I don't know if she's holding back because she fucks the girls up when she really gives a blow. But looking at AEW and their blood and guts match, these bitches wasn't hitting hard either. Now, there was a lot of nonsense in AEW that just wouldn't, it was unnecessary. I will say this, and we're in terms of the AEW audience and women. I feel like the women make it a point to go all out and absolutely psychotic when it comes to pay-per-views because they aren't as respected. They aren't as respected. Now, the women in WWE got a little respect because they are a little more popular than the men. I'm going to say that. That's subjective. You can argue with me about that in the comments. But I do think the WWE women are a little more popular. And for the most part, the women show up and show out more in WWE versus the men. So they do have more popularity. They are always women on the top merch list and stuff like that. Okay. AEW always bothered me because I'm going to use Britt Baker as an example. Britt Baker versus, what is that woman's name with the sugar skulls? It's going to come to me at some point. Anyway, her and old girl had a hardcore match. If you go back and look at the match, the audience wasn't into it until somebody decided to split their shit open. And then the blood, it was like minimal like wrestling. The wrestling was just your basic run-of-the-mill shit. But because there was blood, everybody went up and said that this match was a classic. I beg to differ. And the other girl actually won. Britt Baker lost the match, but Britt Baker became this whole hardcore, icon for a significant amount of time before everybody turned on her altogether. Now, at the beginning of the AEW Women's Blood and Guts match, it wasn't even 5 minutes in before old girl from Chicago, Sky Blue, went and bladed herself. She bladed herself and proceeded to bleed like none other. And bleed and bleed and bleed, and then get in the camera and scream and carry on. And, because these are the shots that people want to see. The brutality. Jade Cargill did it as well when her shit got split open. They did nothing with it, but still. There was a spot with Chris Statlander and Marina Shafir, and I just, it's just a willful need to be sadistic. So they was over there on the side of the announce table, and them two was mixing it up. And then Marina Shafir took the side off and dropped some steel nails down. And so her and Chris Statlander going at it. And she barely tapped Chris Statlander on the head. And Statlander slowly but surely fell back onto these better nails. And I said, see, this is the shit I'm talking about. Y'all just want wanton violence just to have it. The reason why blood, when it actually happens by mistake, is so shocking is because it's supposed to be shocking. AEW, just everyone bleeds for no fucking reason. And then, most of the time, that's Jon Moxley. And when Jon Moxley's on my TV, I'm not watching it. I'm not even going to hold you. I cannot do a Jon Moxley match. I can't. His matches gotta be, so you got somebody getting drowned. He did the one where they had put the plastic bag over the person's face. Then you got, motherfuckers eating each other blood. Then they had the needle in the mouth. And then, what's his name, stapled his tongue. And, we can even talk about the whole situation with Swerve Strickland that ain't nobody talking about. I'm going to have to tap on that. But I'm going to be honest with you. If I had to choose storyline, what's the story? Neither one was storyline driven. Everyone had their own thing going on, but nothing really was a focal point, and it was just thrown together. So you had Chris Statlander, who was the women's world champion, not defending her title, right? Because who's she supposed to do it against? I guess she's waiting on Mercedes Moné, who's the TBS champion, and they're in the collision. Now, their match, then, the Blood and Guts match, in my opinion, didn't really pick up until Mercedes showed up with all her belts, handing them out to the girls, and did that little goofy spot or whatever. And it was a fun, campy little spot. Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa are called the Love Bombs, and they like to make out with each other and fill each other up. So they're on the face team. And then you got Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale in a little situation. And Harley Cameron is the one with the puppet that's always making fun of Mercedes Moné. Harley Cameron wrestles like Maxine Dupree. But, her ass cheeks are out, so that's important. I always say Willow Nightingale has this hardcore persona. And I guess she's paying homage to New Jack. But I would love to see her go against Nia Jax in a hardcore match. I would love to see it. And then that way Nia could, use all her strength like she wants to do. But that's really pretty much it in terms of the face. And then you got Megan Bain, who took the place of old girl, what was old girl's name? I forgot her name, who was came in and was working with Mercedes Moné, and that shit fell through. Camille. Megan Bain took the place of Camille. Megan Bain has as much charisma as my big toe. And then you got Marina Shafir, who I will give Jon Moxley his props because he brought her back to life. And then the Triangle of Madness, that's the old girl who, I know is Sky Blue, and what is that bitch name who used to be a cheerleader and now she's some type of mistress of the dark. It's gonna come later on. So with that being said, there ain't nothing too much to be watching or what's going on. Y'all can correct me, AEW heads, but it seems like you know, this was just thrown together too because you needed it on the card. And then we already know what WWE, nothing on their card had anything cohesive in terms of storyline except this is a usual pay-per-view and we need star power. WWE did not have blood. WWE is more of a centered, family-centered situation. Now, had one of them holes cracked open, yeah, it probably would have been a little bit more. But y'all would have, if one of them bled, y'all would have given it a higher score. The only reason why, outside of the technique and the psychology, both suck. The only reason why you say AEW Blood and Guts is better than Survivor Series is because of the blood that was shown. Because of the, supposed this is so a hardcore match. That is the only reason. And again, I just think the women have to go all the way out in AEW because if they don't, y'all don't pay attention to them hoes. Y'all don't pay attention to them. I just think, y'all say Blood and Guts was better because AEW lets their talent literally put themselves in danger and have more liberties and put themselves at risk. And WWE is not willing to do that. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I'm like, I got a family, I got shit to do, I'm already pushing, certain ages and stuff like that. I'm not about to be in there getting hit over the head with chains and shit. There's a spot where Marina Shafir, I don't know who that is, but I want to say it's either Mina Sharakawa or one of them. Anyway, they're laid in like some type of backwards headlock or something like that. And Marina Shafir, with her bare ass feet, she goes over, stomps on some glass or whatever was in the ring, stomps on that to get the glass in her foot, turns around and stomps on the girl in her chest. And everybody's like going up for this. The shit's goofy. It's not that in real life is not ever gonna happen. And I can't even suspend my imagination. You mean to tell me you want me to sit here and believe that this woman stomped the glass, turned her foot into like a complete weapon, and then stomp the girl in the ribs with the shit? Like, come on. Then at one point, Mercedes is, kissing Tony, and that's her thing, and she pulled her move, and that shit was terrible. And then everybody get to pull their moves, and the match makeup ain't no different than WWE. Only thing is, Tony probably said, y'all go out there and y'all make sure y'all do some wild shit. I don't care what y'all do. Everybody got their hepatitis B shots, so you could go out there and just cut the fuck up. That's what he told them. And that's what y'all respect. And I wish people would really, be real about what you actually like. You don't actually like that these women are out there, trying to bust through their craft. You just like that they're fucking bleeding and willing to do any fucking thing to satisfy and quench your sadistic thirst. So I will give kudos to both sides. Kudos to WWE to say, no, we ain't got to do all that. If it happens, it happens, but this is what we're going to do. Yeah, it looks goofy. The whole situation is goofy, but this is what we're going to do, and we're going to stick to it. And kudos to AEW. That's like, listen, we're going to feed the sickos, and you bitches is going to go out there and do all the things that you could possibly think of to feed these motherfuckers. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody going back to rewatch either of these matches. So what is it really for? AEW heads, AEW cousins, get in the comments. Correct me if I'm wrong. I love it when y'all do that. I love it. Let's have the conversation.